Hello everyone, Newbie Prepper here, and today's video is gonna be about navigation. So, with that, a couple of disclaimers. Number one, I am a newbie, I'm not an expert. So, with that being said, I'm a newbie, I'm not an expert, so everything here is opinion, not actual fact, but you could find something useful here. And number two, yes, the camera is shaky, but that's because I'm recording it on my cell phone, not recording this on a professional camera. I don't see a need to get a GoPro or any other kind of professional camera. I don't need it. So anyway, with that being said, let's get down to it. Navigation. Let's say shit hits the fan. SHTF, WROL, whatever happens. Big giant hurricane thunderstorm comes rolling through and turns your city upside down and knocks over every single building, and you've got to evac the area and you've got to go. Government's not around because they're occupied with a war or whatever, and they're out trying to save themselves. We've seen this happen in Katrina. We've seen it happen in New York with Hurricane Sandy. We've seen it happen with the earthquakes out in California. Pretty much everybody is on their own until the government gets to them, which could be several days to several weeks. I'm not winding up in one of them Astrodome, Thunderdome, FEMA installation whatevers because I waited for the government. I'm gonna bug out. I'm gonna get to where I need to go. With that, I figure I need navigation. Lots of people talking about, navigate this, navigate that. They've got their GPS. They've got their phone to do GPS. What happens in an EMP attack and your phone is dead? Your GPS is dead. What happens if a major catastrophe occurs and GPS satellites get knocked out? Your GPS is worthless. Do you have anything to charge your phone with? What happens when you drop your phone and it cracks and breaks and it is unusable anymore? How are you going to navigate? What is your backup navigation device? Well, here it is. Road Atlas Maps. I'm an old guy. Not that old, but old enough. I'm an old guy. I'm 45 years old. I can say it. Yeah. I've grew up on road atlases and maps. Anytime I needed to go somewhere, I went there using a map. I didn't use fancy GPS navigation. I used a map. So I picked up this one. I don't remember exactly how much it was. Let me see if I can find the price. Oh, there it is. Don't know if you can see that, but, probably can't. But let me tell you, it's $19.95. It's a pretty decently thick-sized book, as you can see with my finger. Boom. Yeah, there it is. So, yes, and it is a pretty big book. Compared to my hand, you can see it is a pretty big book. I'd say it's about 12 by 20, 13 by 20, something like that. I don't know exactly, but that is that. So, it'll fit in a backpack. It'll fit in a backpack pretty nicely. Worst comes to worst, rip out the pages you need and go. But anyway, I picked this up because it is a road atlas. When SHTF happens, most people are going to be on the road, walking along the road, trying to get from point A to point B on the road. I'm going to stay off the road simply because, not completely stay off, but I'm going to stay close enough to the roads to where I'm not on the roads. But anyway, nice thing about this is you can actually prepare a bug out evacuation plan. Which way you gonna go? Where you gonna go? You can see where most people are at. In a major catastrophe, this is where I live. Right there. Chicago. It's a big giant megalopolis city. So I'm going to see where all the population centers are. I'm going to see where I need to go and where I want to go, where there's a lot less people, so I'm not running into massive problems everywhere. And I'm thinking northwest, somewhere out here. Maybe somewhere out here. I heard Texas has good hog hunting. They got tons of hogs. Lots of meat to eat. Excellent place to go. I wouldn't go here simply because it's a damn desert. There ain't much in there. Not to knock on people in deserts, but I'm not a desert person. I'm more of a winter person. So I don't think I'll be going there. Here's pretty nice. Lots of resources. Everything here is just going to be a mad mess of millions and millions and millions of people. If you ever look at nighttime shots of the U.S., you will notice like this half of the United States is all lit up with, tons and tons of cities, and this half of the United States is nowhere near as lit up. There's big giant patches of nothing, where you can start over, where you can keep away from the marauder gangs, where you can stay away from bad people or whatever you need to. But anyway, this is my navigation. I've also turned it to where I live. Good old Chicago megalopolis. So now, being that these are paper, they could get wet, so you do have to take care with these maps. It's got a map for every single state. It's a pretty useful tool. It's actually, I would consider it a necessity. If you're not going to get a big giant map of the entire country, at least get a map of your general area or your state. Get some kind of a map so you know where you're going and you're not wandering aimlessly. Me, this is where I live. Fortunately, I don't live somewhere like in the middle of this hellhole here, because what I'm figuring is in the middle of an SHTF situation, WROL situation, whatever, this is going to turn into a nightmare. Me, I happen to live right along the lakefront, which is kind of nice. I happen to live along the lakefront. I can possibly bug out. I have options. My back is not towards the wall. I'm not surrounded by mess. I can possibly hop a boat, hop a raft, whatever, swim across the lake if I need to. Swim north if I need to. Swim south to the Indiana Dunes, because Illinois, let me flip through the pages. Illinois is a pretty big place, and as you can see here, Chicago, and it's a big giant mess of everything. It's just a big giant city as far as the eye can see. It's like a technological nightmare practically. But Indiana, as you can see, there's Chicago. Right next to Chicago is Indiana. And right along here is not as populated. It is still populated, but notice the short little distance from here till you get to open space versus let's get back to regular Illinois. Here till you get to open space. All this yellow is city. Well, not Chicago City, but Chicago area, Chicagoland area, where it's densely populated. Notice all this. It's all yellow. I can hop a boat. Head south along the lakefront. Head south along the lakefront till I hit less populated areas, depart from my boat, and head south. Once I make it out of the densely populated areas, I should have a little bit of a better time going along here than trying to cut along here. I'll run into less trouble here. And so, I'm building up my little getaway plan, my bug out plan. It's always good to have some kind of routes on if you're going to bug out. Where are you going to bug out to? How are you going to bug out? Which routes are you going to take? Trying to get through a city as big as Chicago or New York or Los Angeles, it's unfathomable. You're going to get bogged down and you're going to get stuck. Hence, I'm not putting together a bug-out vehicle. Lots of people put together bug-out vehicles. And yes, bug-out vehicles are nice if you're in the situation where you can use a bug-out vehicle. I am forecasting that if we get into a real SHTF situation, Chicago is going to be too bogged down with traffic for anything aside from possibly motorcycles and bicycles to be used as bug-out vehicles. I'm going to see a lot of people in their SUVs going absolutely nowhere because it's going to be because the streets are going to be one big giant parking lot. You know, I mean, already people talk about how Los Angeles traffic is a nightmare. New York traffic is a nightmare. Well, imagine traffic when everybody's trying to leave. It's going to be a disaster. So, I can hop a boat and walk my happy butt down. Once I get into less populated areas, I can swing over to where I need to go. That is my situation. So, with that being said, I do highly, highly recommend you get yourself a map. And you know what? For $20, it's not a bad map. If you have to take a couple of pictures and print them out, or if you have to take and rip out a couple of pages of what you need, so be it. It's $20. Get an updated map. You know, you shouldn't be using a map from 1970s to navigate. You shouldn't rely on just your cell phone or Google Maps or GPS to navigate with. Yes, those work nice. What happens when you drop your electronic device and it breaks and you can't use it? What happens if you need to recharge it and you have no way of recharging it because you're out of power? What happens when that electronic device fails you? This will not fail you as long as you treat it right. It takes a lot less care to care for it. Anyway, this is my navigation. Take care, and I will see you all on the next video. Bye.